And welcome to this new video, or welcome back if you watched the part 1. This is Bry, and we're gonna be looking at how to change a car to a cartoony kind of style, for like with a car that we just model. So at the beginning of this tutorial, we just see how I finished to model the car, because as I explained in my first video, the tutorial was like 30 minutes long. I think it's long enough, and I just explained like the main stuff, how to speed up your workflow, and like the tools that you can use, the shortcuts, and all of this. And what I just used, that's you go mesh and you go clean up, and you tick more than 4 sides, like faces with more than 4 vertices. It's a really good tool to see if you have illegal faces. So I'm usually clean up myself, but I just use it because then that's highlighting the faces which are illegal, and then after you can clean it the way you want it. So yeah, I skipped the part in which I was going more in detail and more trying to have the exact shape that I wanted of the car. For example, in the first part, you didn't see me creating the light in the front of the car, this kind of stuff. But yeah, it was not worth it to watch me and just going a little bit more on the right and the left. So I just skipped these parts. And now I'm gonna be soon happy with the general shape of the car. That's gonna be close enough from the car I'm going for, which is the Austin. What's the name of the car? I even forget. I forgot the name of the car. It's Austin Allegro, and that's the model 1973. And I think it's close enough because that's the game. That's a car for a game, so that's not for visual effect or whatever. So you don't need to have the really yeah, I'm gonna show the car now. Yeah, you don't need to have really high definition, because the game's gonna be 4 players in the same screen, so the camera is gonna be on the back and pretty far away. So you won't see all of these details really well. So that's why we just want to have the general shape of the car. And now it's really important what I'm doing now. I'm watching the reference, and what you want to do is be smart about how you're gonna texture it. I'm gonna talk about this in the 3rd tutorial, in which we're gonna UV the car. And that's when we're gonna be smart really with the edges, where we want the edges, where we want the UV island and all of this, because that's gonna speed up the texture part. But when you model, that's something you want to keep in mind. That's where you want the edges to be, where you want for the UV island and for the texturing later on. So now I'm happy with the car. So as you can see, you have to freeze transform, and I have to make one object. So I just use my shortcut that I have set up, but it's merge, not merge component, it's edit merge and attach the object. So I'm showing what we are going for, it's a little bit cartoony car, this kind of stuff. So what we want when we do this kind of cartoony, so you select the edges that you want and you press B for the soft selection. You can hold B and drag your mouse to grow or shrink your selection, and then you just select the edges you want, and then you move it a little bit slightly. And what we want when we do more cartoony, see I have the edges is not really aligned. So what I'm gonna do, that's what I explained, you select the edges on the edge, you hold the J, you scale it, and you drag it, and then that's gonna align perfectly all of your verts, so you have perfect symmetry. Now I created my instance again, and so yeah, cartoony car. So you want to have bigger wheels, a smaller front, and a higher middle of the car, like the windows and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is just like scale up the wheels, and then I'm gonna adjust my car to like fit with the wheels, like the size of the wheels that I want. In this video I will also show how I model the chassis of the car. That's gonna be a bit more modeling technique again and this kind of stuff, because in our game we want to rig only one chassis and only one kind of wheels, and then every car is gonna have the same wheels and chassis, then just the top of the car is gonna change. So we're gonna model like different top, and then put on this all of this already rigged, so we don't, so that's easier for the programmers. So we just rig it once, we like give it to the programmers, they program with one rig, one stuff, and then after we just change the top. So yeah, that's just about workflow. Just make it faster for the whole team. So now I'm just adjusting like the vert and this kind of. So once again, what I just used, that's the J. Like you just hold J and scale it just to make sure you align your vert. So it's a bit more tedious than modeling. It's just like moving the vert, but that's pretty fun because you want to have like really the shape that you want. What I'm doing now, that's usually you can select like all of the edges, then you lift it up, then you hold Control to deselect the edges. You deselect one slice of edges, so you just have this one, and you just put it a little bit more, so you can really create like a little bit round shape. Now I'm just like cleaning a little bit the car. Maybe I can like speed up a little bit. Yeah, I was pretty much at the end already of the Cartoony. So what you want to be sure also with the car, it's the windows has to be like in the same line, otherwise it does look weird. So that's why you just saw me really align like all of the edges on the bottom of the windows. Doing like increment save all the time, just to be sure if something is like mess it up, I can go back in a previous version. So now we can see like the car and the Cartoony like car on the back. So once again, I'm just like adjusting some verts, so I'm gonna just maybe skip a little bit this part. And also with the mirror, so the mirror, I'm like, you want the mirror to look a little bit bigger than the original car, just once again to make it a little bit more cartoony. And I just created my instance with the mirror this time, so yeah, just like make it a little bit more bigger, adjusting the edges. Up. So now I'm gonna create the chassis of the car underneath. So now I'm like looking to the reference on the right side, and I have like the chassis reference. So what I'm gonna do is just using like basic shapes, primitive shapes, so cylinder, square, all of this kind of stuff, and just to create the wheels and the chassis. You're gonna see like really quickly we can get a pretty decent like result. So what I've just done, just copy the wheels, so I have this exact same space. Same space between the wheels than my car. Just snapping by holding V, snapping the vert, creating an edge loop in the middle, because I'm gonna just create the right side like usually, like always, and then like mirror it. So here we go. So I just create the instance. Like now I just showed that with the instance, like it doesn't take the scale in consideration, just moving. And now I'm like showing the chassis. So what I'm like going for, like this kind of shape. So yeah, you just want to keep in mind that like the scales doesn't like change with the instance. So if you change the right, that's not change the left part. So same like now I'm like creating edge loops, hold shift, right click, edge loop. So you can have to like change a little bit the shape of the when you want to snap the rotation, you hold J, and so when you rotate, it's like discretion rotation, and you can like change the number. Like now I have like set up 10%, so that's always going 10, 10. And I'm going quickly like to create some shapes. So snapping, create some cubes. It's just to make it more like mechanical, I guess. And when you have like, you wanna bevel it, so I just select every edges of my cube and bevel like everything. It's the same. What you can do at this stage, it's when you know that you're gonna use like 3 cubes like this, before like copying it like the way I'm doing now, you actually want to UV the first one, and then you copy like the other, the cube you just bevel, and then once it's UV, you copy for like the other one. Always keep in mind that you're gonna have to UV at some point. So every shape that you want to copy and have like multiple times in your scene, you wanna like UV it once, right? So just like speed your process, your workflow. Because after like when I UV it, you will see like in the third part when we're gonna UV it, I'm gonna have to go through every single one and like UV them. And yeah, that's sometimes a little bit pain. So now I'm like just like creating some interesting shape. I'm like looking and say like, oh yeah, does it look cool? Or like, so the way you see the chassis now, it's flipped. So after that's gonna be like up, flip around, because that's the front of the car. Like when it goes like more like goes in the middle, that's the front. So I just wanna align the you can change the pivot when you want to rotate an object. You just change the pivot, so then the rotation is from the pivots. Like you probably know all of this, but I'm just like, yeah, doing the tutorial, so explaining everything what I'm doing. And same like snapping to make sure that's in the middle. And then bevel, same stuff. I'm just creating some interesting shape, more like make it more interesting, like the chassis. Then I'm gonna mirror it, but I forgot that I have 2 times the same shape. So once again, like when you do like the duplicate special, yeah, the shape in the middle, I have to like deselect, yeah. So I just like deleted the shape that I have straight in the middle, because you don't want to have like 2 times on top of each other. Duplicate special, so yeah, you know like the colors, so like the blue, you have like the colors of the axis, so you know like when you want to copy on the axis, and then you put the minus in front of the one you want to, the axis that you want. Now I was just showing like by rotating a little bit the wheel, that's in the game we want actually the wheels to be able to move. So we're gonna rig, so that needs to be a separate object. That's gonna be inside the same object, but not merge. Not the vert won't be merged with the other one, because we want to have like to be able to rig 100% the wheel to be able to move. So now I'm gonna just model the wheel itself. So I'm starting to model like inside the wheel, and then like the tire itself. Like now the technique I'm using, it's append new polygon. That's really useful. So same stuff, it's yeah, I'm showing like really quickly. You hold shift right click and append polygon, so you can click on it like on an edge, and then click on the other edge, and it's gonna just create a surface between these 2 edges. Then you press J to do like J, G, not J. And so that's repeating the same action, and you can do it like over and over. Now I'm going like for the tire itself. just messing around with the scale because I want something, so I just delete the other one because I realized that actually I'm gonna use it. I was like, no, I created this one because I wanted to have like inside, so it was faster to start with a new primitive. But then I was like, oh no, because I need the inside of the tire. So now I'm like counting to have the same like numbers and to see where I'm gonna have the, yeah, so you see now I'm using the append, so shift, right click, append, new polygon, every like 3 squares. Now I'm gonna like extrude, and then when you press, like when you extrude, you can press on this little stuff, and that's putting the wall space and not object space. So it's like putting in the middle. If you have like 5 sides, 5 faces selected, then that's like putting in the middle, so it's easier to like scale it. And after just creating like small pieces in the middle, so once again just create a new like primitive with the same like number of faces that the stuff I want, just to have an extra object just in the middle. So this one is pretty much like, yeah, basic modeling, I guess, basic primitives. And once again, I'm falling down on my chair. So I just go like vertices just to align them. Here we go. I'm gonna speed up this part because it's not really interesting. So now that I have the wheel, I'm gonna put it inside my tire. Up. So what I did is just after when I had my tire, I just like selected and like bevel the edges to have like more like the round shape. I did the same with the outside the tire as well, to get like a nice good looking tire, but not too many polygons as well. That's a little bit too like that's too many, like what I'm doing now, like in comparison with the car. You don't want the chassis to be actually the same number of polys that the car itself. In this case it doesn't really matter because the game we're aiming for, like I was already way under the poly count that we restricted ourselves, and so that's why the chassis is like, that's fine, even though it's like 800 or like 1000 polygons, it's still like this one with the wheels is like 3000, so it is a little bit like high, not high poly, but yeah. But it's not too bad because when the car is gonna flip extra, you want to have like a nice looking stuff. But yeah, just keep in mind the logic of the what you see more, that's where you want to have more polys, obviously. So now I just put like, have my chassis up, put underneath my car. Also because the car, like later on, when we're gonna move on with the game, we can still make the car more high poly, because you can change the mesh of the car, which is gonna be on top of the chassis, but we can't change the chassis because we have to rig the chassis. As soon as you rig it, and we handle this to the programmers, we can't change it anymore. Otherwise, like everyone has to do like all the job again. So that's why like I choose to go for more high poly chassis, because later on, if we want to have more high poly cars, we can just change the cars, and we have the chassis already like in the good definition. That's also why like the number of poly it's different. And now we can see like the cars, like the final car, and we're gonna go back in normal speed just to see the final result. I'm just like, yeah, I've seen like a little angle that was like, oh no, it doesn't look the way I really want it. So I'm just like changing it. You want also to change your smoothing group. So in the windows, every edge, like all edges on the windows, you want to like select them and smooth them. So you go like, you hold shift, right click, no, it's like I think it's control for smoothing. Yeah, control, right click, and then like smooth them. It's like smoothing, blah blah, so like open a little menu. Yeah, just doing some extra edges. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. So now, like, I created like all of this stuff on the edges. Here you go. Now we have the two cars next to each other. So we have like the normal car and so I did change it like later on again because I wasn't really happy with the front. Oh yeah, just realized I forgot the stuff on the back. So I'm just creating like quickly a small up. And just speed up a little bit because that's the end of the video and I want to show you. Yeah, so that's when I'm smoothing the edges. So I'm just like selecting the edge that I want and smooth. See, so just select the brush, select then the edges that you want, and then you can like just smooth them on the window, like same. And just you have to merge obviously the vert on the middle, merge components just to make sure that you have like not floating vertices. And now that like smooth the edge, you know, on the windows looks way better because it looks like really like smooth, but you still want to have some hard edges on the side. So that's the end of the video really soon. I'm gonna be back normal time. Yeah, just change the symmetry over there. I'm like having a look like overall or how the car looks like. Voilà, yeah, like we are back normal time, just to show you like at the end how the car looks like. So all of this, it's about 6 hours of modding this car and then like changing to the I'm gonna just like pause it. So yeah, having like this car and then like change to that one and create the chassis. It's just to give you an idea about like 6 hours of work. So yeah, that's not really high poly, but that's still pretty fast because using a lot of shortcut and stuff like that really does speed up the workflow. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in part 3, like for UV the car, and then part 4, one of my favorites, texturing. As you can see, I'm a little bit tired because I talked too much already, like doing like a lot of videos. So that's why I'm like, but thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.